Wake the farm up. Welcome. This is the podcast by Wake the Farm Up called Maintaining Ground. And I am your host, Andy the Elf. In this podcast experiment, I'll be talking with old friends, new friends, and a whole variety of people who are very inspiring, intriguing, and have their own opinion about the world to share, and incredible stories. Today, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Heather Holthaus Battles. Yeah.
Hey guys.
Heather was actually my first girlfriend, quote. So I don't know if you remember it like that, Heather, but I remember in 4th grade.
100%. I totally remember that. I
That's
honestly
so funny.
remember it like it was yesterday. So yeah.
That's so funny. It's really cool to have the opportunity, like, I'm not going to say how many years later. We'll leave that there for people to do their own math work. But yeah.
Oh, Andy, I gotta say, I tell everyone my age all the time. I still feel like I'm like 22.
Yeah, I'm 14.
So like, I don't know. I love telling people my age.
Yeah, well, it always changes, and like this recording, might be here like 40 years from now, so like we'll be different ages then. So let's just go with like
32.
Yeah, like
sure.
Like 42. Yeah, I'm 42.
Okay.
So yeah, back there in 4th grade, where
yeah,
I remember calling up your house, and I had asked my parents if I could call you. It was like this big deal to me, and they're like, okay, and I saw them kind of get little grins on their face. I mean, it wasn't like super crazy, I guess, but for us it was this big deal, and I called you up, and your dad answers the phone, and I heard him kind of giggling, It's like, oh, you want to talk to Heather? Okay. Because, you're the oldest of your siblings. There was a new thing for him. I can see that right now, So.
Do you think our parents talked to each other before that happened?
I have no idea. I never even thought about that. Yeah. That's so funny.
We should ask them. They probably plotted this whole thing together.
Well, I don't know, just the funny story. I remember thinking about that, and it was probably my first thought as a boy growing up, thinking that you were this really cute girl and you were really nice to me. That's always been a big thing for me in my life. Looking back, all the women I've had relationships with were really sweet to me, and they looked at me really nice, and that made me look at them oh wow, they think I'm something. Mm-hmm. So I remember you looking at me like that on some playground. It was one of these playgrounds that had giant tires and logs with pipes sticking out of them and stuff. Into the Mizart, chillin' in the Pizzart. I got a break, cause my mother said be home by dessert. But before I go, I'm gonna flow for you one more time, see? To listen to the rhyme, G. It's the East Coast family. Boys to men, ABC, BBD. Now flip the track, D. Playground. So yeah, it was
probably concrete underneath it.
Yeah, or shredded up tires or something under that had mosquitoes nesting in them. So that's.
So you called. Do you remember the phone call at all?
I barely remember all the details, but I remember being will you be my girlfriend?
And what did I say? Okay.
You're okay. Yeah.
And then we probably went to school the next day and said, we're boyfriend, girlfriend. No, I think back then we said, we're going with each other.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where we were going, but we're going with each other.
Steadily. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Something like that.
Awesome.
That's so funny.
Oh.
So
that was only like 10 years ago, so that's good.
Yeah, and I don't ever remember us like breaking up. What happened there?
I think we might still be going with each other. Don't tell the Mr. Battles on that.
You never know. I don't know, like, yeah, so tell me about your love life now. Like, what's Mr. Battles like? How do you guys have battles with each other? I mean, I imagine they're fun.
They are fun. We've been married for 12 years. This year it'll be 12 years. Aww. Together for probably like, I don't know, 17 or so. And yeah, we battle with each other all the time, especially post kids. We battle a lot more, but he's cool. Let's hear it for Mr. Battles. Mr. Battles. Well, he's good. We're both type A, and he's just he's up for anything. He's super fun, and he's actually out of town for work right now. So his days out of town, I'm up till like 2 or 3 in the morning getting all the other stuff done and that I've always wanted to do but never really do. So I miss him, but I don't.
So he has to go out of town fairly often, huh? Mm-hmm. So what's that like, being with children left at home while Mr. Battles is out battling the battlefield?
So I always tell people, I'm like, I picked my battles with him. We didn't get married. We didn't get married till late. We didn't have kids till late. So with him gone, with the girls, it's it's a free-for-all. It's so much fun. We have ice cream for dinner some nights, and I don't know. I would say there's no rules. Andy, you kind of know because we're doing this call pretty late.
Yeah.
But the girls are awesome, and with him out of town, we just kind of do a lot of experiments. That's what they call them, experiments. So like last night, we took a bunch of silicone molds and broke up all of our old crayons that were like broken and everything and stuck them in there and made really cool like Easter Bunny rainbow crayons. And then we've done a lot of like throwing food coloring and baking soda and vinegar and lots of explosions. And so he doesn't like messes. So he's like really like, he's like straight, like he's like the type A, no mess, no slime, no paint, no whatever. And I'm like, everything goes.
So when Daddy's out of town and like everybody knows that we get to make some messes.
100%.
Yeah, that's fun.
100%. Yeah.
So I know with children and them living in 2 different homes when they're with me, it's kind of like that. It's like I get to be the super cool dad because nobody else is around, and we do all kinds of stuff crazy. I won't even bring all that up, but.
That's awesome. So my 3-year-old, who is wise beyond her years, like she says to me every day, and she's like 3 and 4 months. Like she's not even, she's 3.
Yeah.
She says to me every day, like, Mom, can I say that word? Like, every time I say a word, she's always like, can I say that? And I'm like, yeah, you could say that word. She's like, but I can't say, Andy, you're probably gonna have to beep these. I can't say damn it, right? I'm like, no, you can't say damn it. But could I say darn it? I'm like, yep. Please. She's like, can I say fudge? And I'm like, you can say fudge. And she like asks, and I'm not kidding, every day when I'm frustrated and I say something out of frustration, whatever it be, it could be a good word or a bad word, she's always like, am I allowed to say that? And I'm like, you're gonna say it no matter what. Yeah. And so I feel like she's always pushing the line. Yeah. But Andy, I don't want to stop it because I'm like, you be you, girl. Like, I won't let my kids clearly say bad words right now, but like. Yeah, that age, yeah, totally. Like, I'm not going to let them say it, but at the same time, I'm always like, no, you're not allowed to say that. But I'm a little rules are made to be broken type person as long as you're kind. And I mean, they can't say adult words when they're this little.
Yeah, when
We
they're
know
3 and
adult
5,
words.
they don't know
Yeah, absolutely not.
when to and when not to. And something I did always notice with kids when other adults are around and they drop a F-bomb or something, you know, they're like, they stop in the middle of what they're saying and they're like looking around the room. They might even say, oh shit. And you're like, what? You're just saying more stuff. And then they're like, they're making this big deal. Meanwhile, the 3-year-old's watching like, wow, they said that one word. I remember it now.
Yes, that's exactly
it. But if they would have just kept going on and talking, the kid probably wouldn't have even noticed it.
No.
So.
No. Although I'm telling you, I think this little Mensa child of mine, this 3-year-old, the 5-year-old's super sweet, super competitive, but super sweet. This 3-year-old, I mean, I wish I would have caught it on video. I hear her say one day, I'm down the hallway, and I hear her say, I can't find my effing binky. And I'm like, whoa, like she's in context, right? So like, run down the hall, and I do like the mom thing, and I'm like, what did you say? And she said, I can't find my binky. Out of nowhere, I don't even know where my other child comes from. Like she like flies in like Superwoman. She's like, nope, she said effing binky. And I'm like, oh god, don't
snitch.
Your dad's gonna kill me. So, anyways, yes, they are listening. And you know, speaking of listening, sorry, I got to say this real fast. I'm somewhere and I forget the doctor's office, and they asked me my phone number. And my just turned 5-year-old repeats my phone number. I'm like, how do you even know that? Because mom fail, I've never taught my kid my phone number.
Yeah.
I have no idea how, other than her listening when I'm on like phone calls and they ask you your phone number. I have no idea how, but I was like, it was like this moment in my life where I was like, they're always listening. Like it's like Siri and Alexa. They're always listening.
You know, it's fun to say these words, but you know, just watch when you're doing it out of anger. That's when it's really bad.
Andy, that's what I say. I mean, I think it's an unpopular opinion, but it's okay to use when you're not mad. Like I feel like I use it expressively because I'm always amped up. I'm always excited about something. Life is amazing.
Swell, yeah!
Mother farmer.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Andy, this will go back to like yours and my initial message back and forth when you're like, hey, you want to jump on a call? And I'm like, yes, because everything in life that comes my way, I'm like, yes, let's do it. Let's try it. Let's explore something new. COVID was the best thing that ever happened to me because it slowed me down from all my normal things I was doing.
Wow.
And I did all sorts of new things that I never have done before, that have always been on my list, but I never made a priority.
Like what kind of things?
Oh, I learned how to cook, and not just cook, but like cook some gourmet stuff.
Nice.
I tried
like caviar.
Oh yeah, I mean
caviar.
No.
Fresh mussels and.
No, I made red wine. Oh, what's it called? Red wine eggs. What's that called? What's that thing called? Shoot. What's that called when you boil an egg?
I don't know, but when we get it, I can edit out some of the I don't know parts, and we'll.
Okay.
So we'll sound really smart.
Edit this.
Red wine eggs.
that please.
Eggs poached in red wine.
Poached. That's it. That is 100% it. So I took this red wine and poached my eggs, and then I put them over top of this great bread, and then I put this red wine poached egg, and then some mushrooms, and I cooked the mushrooms in there, and then just drizzled a little bit of, I don't remember, some wonderful goat cheese or something. I don't know. It was so good. And I tried all these things I've never tried before. And So I left my career, like my full-time career, and started my own business literally like a year before COVID hit.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden this happened, and I was like, oh goodness, like no one I worked with before. So I signed up for every online class and learned all of the programs that my team was working in. It was design teams. And I taught myself an entire like college curriculum within about, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. And I'm not an expert, but I definitely know enough to get around and enough to do what I need to do.
Cool.
But Andy, it was crazy.
Which part? The taking the classes or?
No, just teaching myself at like, 40 something, teaching myself all these things that like I never really thought I was going to learn. But then I was like, well, now I have the time. I can't leave my house. You can't even walk outside to breathe the air. So
because you might die.
Yes, inside this condensed air that we are all breathing in.
Right, that's safer.
I will just teach myself a computer program. Yes, that's what happened.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yes. I mean, what did you during?
Something I'm always inspired by in learning is my grandmother. She put herself through college and got her bachelor's degree, I think when she was in her like late 60s, which is just fascinating to me. It's like, you can go and do it anytime you want. You can go and do whatever you want.
So you're saying I have a chance.
Yeah, anything we want. I mean, of course, there's like always, our own personal life karma. What comes across, like...
Well, sure. That's why you live every day. Like, you never know what tomorrow brings.
Yeah, and we look for what our special talents or our special skills are in ourselves. And, if we see something that looks impossible, like, can we really do it and put our mind to it and make it happen? Like, what's that story with the girl with no arms that had her arms bit off by sharks, but she still wanted to go surfing?
Love her. And we always wonder how she doesn't just go in a circle. But yes, I love her.
I mean, if I was her, I'd be eating shark every day. Shark jerky, I'd have shark burgers, I'd have shark everything.
Hey,
shark charcuterie.
100%. Andy, I love this. So, okay, right before you and I jumped on this phone call, whatever you want to call it, sorry. Yeah. I was texting with my mom, and so for years I've been talking about doing a clothing line, like not for real, like not to make money, just because people need to wear these shirts, right? Yeah. And the line is called SIHTS. But when you look at it, it kind of looks like the other word. But it's stuff I had to say. And it's
SISTS?
No, SIHTS. So it kind of looks like, shit. But it's SIHTS. Okay.
Yeah, it's like shits, but spelled by somebody that's been drinking bourbon or something.
Which probably was happening when I thought of this. I love bourbon. I love myself some bourbon, some beer. It doesn't matter. So anyways, I have this idea, and I'm like, it's the stuff I had to say that I never thought I would say. So like, don't throw pancakes at your sister. Did you poop today? Don't lick strangers. Like all these things I say to my kids on a daily basis that I'm like, I had never thought I'd have to say this in my life. Yeah. And this has now transpired. So that happened, like, year 1, 2, 3 with my children. To now, I think I'm going to come up with this new line. And I'm telling you this, and I don't care who in your audience listens to it, because maybe someone will make it happen. But this new...
You've heard it here first, originally. No stealing.
This new line is, did you notice, ... Did you notice, ... And so all the shirt is going to say is, I put the laundry away, or I clean the garage, or I don't know, I empty the dishwasher.
My fly's not down yet.
Andy, all of those.
Yeah, I like that.
What people are going to wear to so you know, like how
that's like what you'll see at Kings Island, somebody wearing
Yes!
that or something. You know what I mean? Like at
Yes,
the
and
amusement parks and
all these like basic white girls are wearing these mama bear shirts. My like mama bear shirt's gonna be like, I've only had a glass of wine. Like I didn't have the bottle. I don't know, but
yeah.
anyways, I think there's a whole market in that.
What the farm?
What's that shirt you're wearing? She's like, she's like, this is one of my favorite shirts. It's my David Bowie shirt.
My David Bowie. The actual farm? No.
It was like, if you're gonna wear them, know how to pronounce them.
Yeah, David Bowie.
It's been the big, yep.
That's being like, I got my Actic shirt or something, you know. I was like, you mean AC/DC? No, it's my Actic.
That is exactly it. And so ever since then, I every time I look at the youngins with these shirts on, I just want to ask them if they've owned a Garbage Pail Kids card or anything else.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love pulling out the Garbage Pail Kid cards. You can, so like, if you ever need to, it's a good idea. You can look one up for a friend, you know, and then send it to them. Because you don't have to actually have the card to send it to them, but you can look it up on the internet, you know, and get a picture of your friend's name, you know, and send it
Andy,
to them.
no. I'm so sorry. Slow down and tell everyone else because I have no idea what you're talking about, but this is amazing.
Oh, Garbage Pail Kids?
I mean,
which
I know
part? Like the whole concept of it? Okay.
Well, yeah.
Well, I'll give it to you in story format. So,
okay.
I'm trying not to drop too many names in this whole situation on this podcast. So we'll just say 4 friends from grade school that you know. We're all going on a camping trip. Before the camping trip, this is just like a couple years ago, I looked up all their names and got the screen capture of their Garbage Pail Kids. I wish I could remember all their different ones.
Wait a minute. So gotta slow down because I feel like I'm going to do this after we hang up. So I go to this website and I type in a person's name and then I say, generate a Garbage Pail Kid name.
Oh, that'd be a really brilliant idea. But no, it's just like...
Okay.
But yeah, these Garbage Pail Kids, for people that don't know, you should look them up. They're hilarious. They were just really disgusting things that parents didn't like back in the day. And for some reason, this is honestly not the first time they've come up on this podcast here.
Oh, you're kidding. They were significant in our childhood, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. They helped us with our art of humor, which, you know, is what we're trying to pass on to the future generations before it disappears. Swell, yeah!
Yep. So you looked them up over the 4 friends that were going with you?
Yeah, and I made a little like poster of them and sent it to them all, and they all got this poster with all of our, Garbage Pail Kids.
Andy.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that tomorrow with my friends. Oh my gosh. Okay, all of this is coming back as you're saying this. So the other thing that came up not too long ago, I can't believe I'm going to say this. Do you remember Big Johnson shirts?
Yeah.
Have those been on this podcast already?
I have not, but I love Big Johnsons. Yeah. I really like your concept of the Garbage Pail Kid generator. So yes. I feel like that could be more customized than just buying a pack of them like at the comic book store or something. Yeah.
Because we have to be relevant in today's day and age.
Yeah,
I mean, Andy, let's talk for a second. Don't you think people would buy shirts that say, I unloaded the dishwasher today? And I feel like they would wear it to the grocery store and they'd be high-fived as they walk down the aisle.
Yeah. Definitely.
Don't you think?
Definitely.
I mean, I say this
maybe on the other side of the shirt it says, I loaded the dishwasher today. Or it could be like an inside out shirt, clean, dirty.
We all are on the same page. This is not my like retirement plan. This is just my
fun plan.
I just want to have fun and
Yeah, definitely. So like along the lines of like the wake the farm up kind of idea, I have some ideas of I know the next sticker, kind of like bumper sticker I'm producing, it kind of plays with this permaculture, like landscape kind of design work. So it says, swale yeah, ditches. Swale yeah! And I plan to play more with those little phrases,
I really like that. Andy, do you have bumper stickers on your car? Do you have a car?
I'm super privileged. I have 2 cars.
Nice.
Yeah.
And do you have bumper stickers on them?
On one of them. The other one's like my nice one that I don't want to put bumper stickers on.
Well, I'm rocking a mom van, so we have that too.
Well, I got.
But it's hybrid. It's a hybrid.
I got a dad van, so.
Don't you love it? I will never trade my van for anything.
The dad van has one of those sloths on the window that are like waving at you.
My kids would like that.
Your kids just look like that.
They'd be like, let's be friends with him, Mom.
Half the time I forget it's on there, and I'll have a carload of kids waving at me, and I'm like, what are you looking at? What? You think I look funny or something? What?
Andy, you're the person that my kids are like, all of a sudden they just start talking like sloths, and I'm like, spit it out. Like, what do you want to say? And they're like, we have nothing to say. I'm like, what? And then it'll take like, I don't know, 10 more miles, and they're like, Mom, there was a sloth sticker. So, yeah.
Then you'll finally be like, oh, okay, now I know what you're doing to me.
Yes, and then I will rear
torture.
End you, Andy.
Hey, I could use a new bumper back there. You got good insurance?
No insurance is good anymore.
You're gonna just hit and run. Like, and then you'll be in your car just like, that's how you do it, kids.
Oh my god. No, I'm the weird person that like didn't even make a nick and leaves a note.
Yeah, that's always great, like, especially when somebody else talks you into leaving a note, like yeah, I really think you should leave a note. And you're like, what? Are you serious? They're not even around. We could just leave right now.
It was a shopping cart.
Yeah. That dent was already there.
I just rub it to make sure that the dirt was still there at the same time.
Oh, no. I really wanted to ask about your occupation that you had up until like the year before COVID pandemic time.
What would you like to know about that?
Yeah, tell me what it was that you did.
So I worked for a company called Pure Romance that sold romance products, intimacy products.
Give you a side note here. When I do publish this, I do click a little thing that says explicit lyrics. So hopefully people are screening it out from anybody that shouldn't hear anything.
Okay, perfect.
And I am making every 5th episode be a kid-friendly one, and it's marked as not explicit. Just
perfect.
Like
so mine will not
and
be that,
funny.
Right?
Yeah, yours is gonna be explicit. This is like you remember when NWA first came out with that album?
I do.
We all wanted it. Just because it said explicit lyrics on it, and you turn it on and be like, holy shit, every single word on here is fuck this, fuck that.
Andy, I hope this is all part of the live part, and then you go, and then you just play some NWA music just for a minute, like you do an outro and then an intro, and then yes. Yeah, that.
But that's still Vanilla
However,
Ice.
I will tell you, Vanilla Ice inspired a product name when I first started with Pure Romance.
Okay, tell me about that.
It was called Ice Ice Baby. Whoa. And it was this blue dual action is what we called them. dual action, mean they stimulated two areas.
Okay.
Toy that was blue on the top, had little white pearls, and then a little bunny ear. And it was
Little
called
bunny
eyesight.
ear? That's the bunny
Yeah,
ears,
so
like the little, like the, okay.
that stays external.
That
Yep.
like
Yep.
kind of like stays around the clit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Very,
Cool.
yeah. Andy, you stop this anatomy thing. This is good.
I've
So
been
yeah, so
studying
that was
these
it.
things
And then
just as long as you have.
so I could tell you so much really cool shit about the
They've
all
changed
of
a
this
lot
stuff.
in the
Like,
last 17 years, haven't they?
they have. And you know the history of vibrators, by the way?
Probably no. I'm gonna say
Okay.
no because I'm talking to you.
Well, no,
And you're telling
you
you sound like you're about to tell me. So,
I am, and you might know more than me because I feel like, I mean, I did have 20 years in the industry, but
I never thought about where they originally came from. That's just
So-
weird. Like I just thought they always existed, like like 2 million years ago.
women would appreciate that.
Like they would have made them
Well,
with
they-
like windmills or something.
What, the actual farm?
Yes.
Or some kind of like thing by the stream where the water's flowing a certain way, you know?
So you're pretty close. Back in the day, like Victorian doctors were talking about how these women would come in and they were frustrated and all this, and like rewind back to the beginning of our conversation, having kids and all those things. Anyways, these women would come in and they'd be so frustrated and so uptight and all these things. And these doctors would find that if they would massage these women, and eventually if they would massage them in certain areas, they would release this tension, which they defined as hysteria.
That was like when they discovered like female orgasms, like for the
Well,
first time.
no. They were like, the hysteria was like talked about like anxiety and irritability.
So it's not necessarily an orgasm.
They felt like their
it's
stomach
like
was in knots. Yeah, they weren't. Wait. Because women, or no one was talking about orgasms at that time. So it was like this anxiety and this irritability, and like they felt like their stomach was in knots and blah, 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 blah. All these things. So they learned that if they would massage their pelvic area, that all of a sudden, if they massaged it enough and the woman closed her eyes and she drifted off to fantasy world, like not fantasy like what we talk about now, but just don't worry about your kids, don't worry about anything, just drifted off, that they could massage this area, and then all of a sudden this release in their body would happen. Holy crap. And like clearly before Instagram and TikTok and all these other things, these ladies would go back to their tribe or their neighborhood, community, whatever they were in.
their village.
Maybe like their village, yeah. They would say, this doctor or whatever they, prophet or whatever they called it then, would be like,
Dr. Love.
yes, but they didn't think of it as like sexual then. Like it was not sexual. It was literally like what we think of now as like a massage or acupuncture or anything like that.
An acupuncture therapy session.
You got it. It was like that. So like they came back and they were like, oh, I never felt like this before.
And their husbands
And so
were
their
like,
friends
oh,
would
thank
go.
you, doctor. Thank you, doctor.
And then these poor prophets were like, well, I can only see 10 women a day because it takes so long to get to that point.
Yeah.
And as pyramids would say, women are like crock pots and men are like microwaves.
Sure.
It takes
can
a
be,
long time, right?
Yeah.
As you know, it can be. So, long story short is a doctor came around, he invented something that would kind of move faster than a finger would, and ultimately they started using these devices externally on women, and we were able to reduce anxiety all without chemicals.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's what they say the history is.
So that's kind of where they started developing different mechanisms or wind-up toys or something started developing.
So fast forward to when, so let's go to closer to your and my age. So I graduated college. I'm a bartender. My mom says, hey, this company is looking for someone to work for them, blah, blah, blah. I had no idea what any of these things were, but they had called on my mom to do their big, giant awards banquet. And I don't think she understood who this company was. At the time, there were like 10 employees, 12 employees. Long story short, I go in, I interview. I am beat red, Andy. I see this mirror and this glass wall. And it has all these things. And like, I was not approved, like by any means. There were 10-foot water bongs and everything else in college, but I had never saw a vibrator. And I only thought vibrators were for not normal people. So I'm like looking at this, I'm beat red during the interview, and somehow I get hired. And so I start, and I'm so nervous. Anyways, we get talking, and I get learning more about this product line, and I find out that, like, through customs and all this stuff, if you go back to when did I start? 2003, they were still shipping stuff over the water that had these little teddy bears on the clitoral stimulators and these dolphins and everything else. And they were just these rubber things that once they made it to the US, they would put in all the other pieces, but they had to ship them so that they were like toys and animals. Yeah. So if you look at the toys back in the day when I started, like 2003, which really isn't that long ago,
right?
They were shipping them as toys, like not like adult toys, like as actual toys.
Wow,
and that's why all these vibrators have faces on them, because that's how they were getting them through customs and through the international waters.
Because they would take them away. What, the actual farm?
Yes, because if they thought they were for something, either a medical use or personal pleasure, they would not let them go through customs. Yeah. So they would send these things, and then I would sit at these parties, and I was working in the corporate office, but I would sit at these parties, and these women would be like, it's so weird to have a beaver on my toy. And I would say, well, if you see the beaver, you're not using it the right way. So I don't know what to tell
you. Yeah, that's the indicator.
Right.
The beaver is supposed to be facing
the
into the beaver.
Hole, sister. Sorry. I'm sorry.
But if you like it there, have fun. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've really evolved into these things now with like Bluetooth remote controls and all kinds of things where, I mean, I remember even like battery packs with like wires coming out of them to the vibrator, you know, so like so the vibrator could be small and could go inside and all that fun stuff. Now I feel like they're even getting really good at toys for boys too.
Yeah.
It's fascinating
so
with these
the industry has changed.
Flashlights and things.
Yeah. The industry has like changed 100 times, especially. I mean, I don't want to bore you on all this, but the part.
Not
so
at
when
all.
I started with
it's fascinating, really.
So when I started with the company, there were like, I don't know, 10, 12 of us ish, and it's a giant company now. Like. Perspective wise, when I started with the company, there were 3,500 independent saleswomen. Now there's been over 300,000. So like we're talking a big giant difference. Yeah. With that said, the technology has changed. When I started, we used to have to fly city to city to city to ask, like to meet with the people, to let them see that we were like normal human beings and we wanted to run radio ads because we were a company for soccer moms. We were not the Lion's Den, this like naughty company. And our parties were truly educational because at the end of the day, no woman wants to talk to their doctor about their orgasm. Right. They're talking about everything else and they're super uncomfortable. And I don't care how close you are with your mama, how close you are with your doctor. There's things that you maybe talk about with your friends, but probably not. Yeah, you just want this person that's like just
maybe some people. I was just going to say maybe a couple people got lucky and had a doctor they felt comfortable with that. But I mean, there's...
Yeah. So they were just looking for this outlet.
I feel like people are finding doctors that they want to be connected with better now than they did years ago too. That's another thing that's changing, I feel. But
Yeah, all of these things. So we would buy. I was at the time buying radio as one of my roles with the company, and I have these
yeah,
companies. They're like, yeah, we'll run your commercial from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. And I was like, but that's not my market. My market is a soccer mom. Like,
yeah,
my market is not the lady. I mean, it is a lady who got off from a late shift, but it's
not
the
that
soccer
late.
moms. So right, right. And so like we went through this like, so we landed on this like we need to go out as girl next door type of person to go, hey, we're really truly about educating women about their bodies and orgasm so that they can go home to their husband or themselves or their partner or whoever it be and say, I want this and I do this and whatever. Mm-hmm. Anyways, fast forward to what we're talking about now with the men things. I don't know. I mean, everything has changed from we used to talk about the Janet Jackson effect and the 3-second delay of everything that happened. And that changed a lot of things.
Well, what's that? What the fuck?
Oh, so Janet Jackson in the Super Bowl when her nipple came out. So there was a 3-second delay. So like every interview on live radio was always it was never live. It was always a 3-second delay. So that changed the trajectory of interviews with the company. Yeah. It like just all these little things have happened. I mean, now that stuff wouldn't happen. You have Kim Kardashian breaking the internet with her butt, right? Like and that's 10 years ago at this point. Like everything is so different. But with the men stuff, it's like finally men are talking about their own pleasure. And that was, so for years, women thought that men were comfortable talking about pleasure. And quite honestly, men weren't, because it was always like, I'm a man, I do this.
Yeah,
now
I jizz on
you
her.
have this open, yes.
And I go. I jizz on her and I go.
Yes. Golden shower, pearl necklace, we got it all. So it's and you know, Andy, I'm going to go back to this, going to our Catholic background, and I'm 12 years Catholic school. I still am very Christ-based in my living. Mm-hmm. That being said, it's like in raising 2 young girls, I'm just passionate about teaching them about their body, teaching them about pleasure, teaching them about permission, and teaching them about just life in general. And like, I don't know. And
how to explore our curiosities, and like, you know, how to do that in a way that's safe and, you know, not condemning yourself or making yourself feel bad. You know, like how do we do these things and understand our bodies and ourselves, and doing these things in a way that keep our self-respect and respect other people and what their feelings are and all that stuff.
That's exactly it. Yeah. And I was not even thinking we were going to go there today, but like, it's just this, people are looking for permission and they're looking for what's normal. And unfortunately, they see the interwebs and they see the TV and they see these things and like, they're thinking, is that normal? Am I normal? I'm not normal. And they're gauging it all. And just quite honestly, it's just giving people permission to have open conversations with their friends that are going to really, truly be honest. And they shouldn't be embarrassed about those things.
Swell, yeah.
Or finding the person that they're not embarrassed to talk about it with.
Especially like in an intimate relationship that you would have with, you know, your partners that you want to try things with. You know, you really want to have that open, honest conversation there.
Yes.
You know, you don't want. And if they make you feel weird, then maybe that's not the right situation for you, and you should be okay with walking away from it.
100%.
Yeah.
You know, Andy, I feel like I've listened to all of your shows, and
awesome.
I really think I did, because I had to clean out my garage today, and I was after I started listening, I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait to listen to the rest and the next and the next and the next. And so it became, and I've told a lot of my friends, I'm like, you got to listen to this podcast. It's so great. So with that said, when I was done and I've been watching this show. Okay, yeah, sorry, but like this, I'm going somewhere with this. The friend says to her, well, I just tell my partner what I want. And she's like, wait. You just tell your partner what you want? She's like, well, sure. I mean, do you not? Like, how do you expect them to know?
Yeah.
And
right?
Andy, if I could tell you how many times, so when I was in my career, a part of my career, I started doing parties. And during the parties, I understood I needed to do parties so I could do what I did and with knowledge, whatever. So anyways, I did these parties and we do private ordering, right? So a lady would come in and they would order and you would have one-on-one consultation. You'd talk about concerns or what their interests are or whatever. And then you'd help them pick the best purchase for themselves. And if I could tell you, I mean, I can't count on 10, nope, I couldn't count on 20 hands how many times women have told me that were probably 30 plus that they've never reached orgasm. And then I would say to them, like, how is that possible? Like, let's talk about this, whatever. And they're like, he's just never done it. Like, he can't do it. I've tried, whatever. And I would say, well, have you ever done it? Like, have you ever done it yourself? Well, no. And I was amazed by how women who have their own bodies, Andy, would think that a man would know a woman's body better than a woman would know her own body.
Right, and not
sorry, I'm sorry. This is probably too much, Andy, I'm sorry.
No, I think that there's a lot of people that should hear that. And I think, from what I understand, that every woman has a different way of coming to an orgasm.
Yes. So this lady on this show, like, I literally wanted to record this part and put it on it. So this lady on the show was like, well, of course you need to tell someone what you like. You need to tell them not to move from that area, not to stop what they're doing, or to stop what they're doing and do this different. And I think that there is just this place that we need to tell women, you need to be comfortable, and your partner's going to enjoy knowing what they need to do, because everyone's guessing. They're guessing not just in the bedroom, they're guessing everywhere in life, and you just have to tell people.
Shut the farm up.
Okay, Andy, let's talk about the zoo.
What, the actual farm? Oh, you want to bring animals into this?
No, I want to talk about something other than this.
This is an open, honest conversation. You just tell me what you want to bring into this. Like,
no, I don't want to talk about feet. No, that is where I draw the line.
No, something I found recently, just, I don't know, I like learning about all kinds of things, right? And there's these, you know, I've heard of sex dolls, these blow-up dolls, right? But life has gone on, now there's sex robots. And you can look them up on the internet. You can order one for like $3,000. They look like a real freaking person. And they even come with built-in AI technology now, so that when you're at work, they'll text you reminders like, don't forget to pick up the milk and eggs on the way home. So
yes,
you can have this like robotic person that's like in your closet that you just have that kind of a relationship with, but it's like developing into this other thing. And that's just so weird. Like, I mean, some people are really into that. I'm pretty weird in a lot of ways, but that's just so far out for me to think like. But on another hand, there's a lot of people that might need that from, I can't remember what they're called, but there's I guess a lot of these mass shooting men have been really lonely, and people that are angry at women for not liking them, and then they go and they shoot a bunch of people or something. And And if they would have had one of these sex robots, maybe they would have chilled out and like had been a little bit more fine just at home drinking by themselves or whatever it is they do that they get crazy with. They'd have this like thing that almost looked like a actual human looking at them, and maybe that's all they wanted out of a woman was that. I don't know.
Shut the farm up.
Yeah. And answer your question, yes. And that is way beyond my imagination and way beyond. So, yeah.
I mean, I even read a statistic somewhere saying that it doesn't make sense to me, but most boys will lose their virginity to a robot in 2050. And I don't know if that really is considered like losing your virginity to me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
But
it's like riding on the back of the turtle, right, Andy?
Whoa, I've never done that, but is that something you've tried? You really want these animals in here?
Well, okay, fair enough. I'm just kidding.
I mean, before that, it was like bunnies and beavers and stuff.
Those are all part of the front part of the joint. Yeah. But no animals. No bestiality. Nope.
Yeah, sounds like Mr. Battles must be an animal.
So when you go to these conferences in Vegas, AMNI is what it's called, the AMNI, Adult Manufacturer of Novelty something.
I'm writing this down.
Novelty and Entertainment, is that what it is?
I'm writing this down. I'm going next time.
AMNI, yeah, and the AMNI stuff. Anyways, they are talking about all this AI and this robot stuff. And not gonna lie, that's all way beyond me. And I feel like I'm a super progressive person, right? Like I consider myself like a disruptor in general and a person that's always questioning the status quo.
Well, yeah.
That is beyond my...
Well, think about this one too. Like,
oh, I can't take anymore because I've already just thought about.
This is like a little different story though, but similar like future technology where like things might go or have gone already for all I know. So this, so they have the Bluetooth remote controlled kind of toys, right? Now,
yep.
You connect that, so you have long distance relationships happening.
Yeah.
And you get special like virtual reality suits so you can meet up with your partner and have a intimate, sexual, romantic evening in a virtual setting.
Sure.
And with these different Bluetooth technologies, you can stimulate each other in different ways.
Oh yeah.
And make it feel like you're actually like doing these things and touching each other and actually together.
Sure.
I think that's really cool in a lot of ways for people with long distance relationships. But then here comes the I don't know, like the Black Mirror episode of it where somebody's hacking into other people's long distance relationships and like having sexual relationships with people who think they're having it with their partner, but it's actually somebody else using their avatar.
Sure. So okay, yeah.
I'll get you Smurfs one way or the other.
Listen, Gargamel, listen. Okay, so fair enough. I agree with all that. I have to say this. About, 3 or 4 weeks ago, I'm talking to one of my dearest friends, and he's talking about how his son, Andy, you got to hear this, how his son has been dating this girl for almost a year. Mm-hmm. And they're just now meeting for the first time. He's picking her up from the airport. And I'm like,
whoa.
Wait. Like, I'm like, what? And he's like,
whoa.
Yeah. And he's like,
how old are they?
17 or 18 and 19.
Wow.
So he says, my son brings her home and they're like all over each other. And it was like they'd been together for 4 years or whatever. And I'm like, oh, like, I can't even, I can't wrap my head around this thing. he said, so me and my wife are talking and we're like, whoa, like this is so weird. This kid is like bringing this girl into our house. Like she's going to be our daughter-in-law. And then he said, and then we got talking and then we were like, how close-minded are we to think that someone should meet their soulmate or their partner in a 20, 30 mile radius? Instead, our child has figured this out, that they've been chatting with people their own age all over the world and ultimately found someone that they've connected with on such a deeper level than the level of what we were in high school, where we were like, oh, they're hot. Let's see if I can have sex with them. And then let's see if they're cool enough to hang out with later. And he was like, and all of a sudden, like, my child brings this girl home who was from a state 10 states over. And I've never met a human being more perfect for my child. And he's like, we had this moment. We were sitting in the kitchen later. We were drinking our wine. And we were like, holy shit, they have this figured out. Like, what were we thinking that they had to meet another kid in their own high school? And it's resonated with me, like Andy, that has resonated with me to the point that I'm like, I guess I never really thought about it in that sense.
Yeah,
isn't that a wild thought?
There's so many ways that, tools and technology can be used for so many different directions. And, I don't know where sex robots come in with the tools and technology being used in a beneficial way. I guess keeping mass murderers from going out there, give them something to calm them down or something. But I don't know. It's
sure
amazing.
Sex robots have their place. You know what? It has their place for women that are on their period. It has their place for people that maybe aren't going to find their perfect match.
Yeah. I mean, it's this whole avatar and this metaverse kind of thing, I've thought about that, and hey, if I'm 85 years old and a single old man living in this world, I think it'd be kind of fun to slip on some VR goggles and run around and be 20 something.
Oh, I 100% believe so.
That'd be so fun.
What is wrong with that fun? Yes, I feel like that's perfect now.
Yeah.
And you know what? I bet if you asked all the soccer moms that I am friends with, they would all say, I would love for my husband to do that. So they stopped chasing me around the house like, what are we going to eat? When are we going to have sex? What are we going to eat? When are we going to have sex? Because I think a lot of moms feel like they not only have their kids, but a husband that's running around with a big giant boner.
Yeah.
Thinking,
well,
these are the two things most priority. What are you feeding me, and when are you going to do me?
What is that? How does the men in this scenario become better? Like, how do they direct that energy into something that satisfies? Like, is there you mentioned
this question? Can I give you the secret to that? Andy, I'm sorry. All I'm going to tell you is you have to figure out what your woman needs as far as if she wants appreciation for what she's doing, tell her thank you and I see you for doing all these things for our family. If she's a person that loves to receive wonderful name brand items, get her the Coach purse or whatever it is.
The actual farm?
If she's a person that just wants you to just do something, put the kids' clothes away. All of those things are going to lead to a much better bedroom experience.
Swell, yeah.
The fleshlight is only 5 seconds of relief.
And then you got to put it in the dishwasher.
Yes.
Somebody's got to put it in there, so it's another job for her or something. I don't know.
You got it. So, to me, it's what makes, and it's, I don't want to say wife. I want to always be very inclusive. Whenever your partner is for me, it's recognizing me, dude, you're a badass. You work and you take care of our kids and our house is amazing. And then you're like entrepreneurial and these things, like you're a badass. And I'm like, great, let's do it. But a lot of women, it's like, if I could just have my husband just for one time empty the dishwasher. Like, I feel like there's so many ladies that would hop on their husband in the kitchen for just emptying the dishwasher.
Nah, not enough.
Or they just show up after work and they're like, hey, I know you love these Target jeans. Here you go. Like, it doesn't have to be expensive. This doesn't have to be name brand stuff or whatever. Anyways, it's knowing what your partner wants and then being like, hey, I recognize that. Now can we get naked?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
Come on, baby.
That's good. Good stuff.
Gotta empty the dishwasher again. Come on.
Are you regretting this? Are you regretting this?
I mean, not at all. I was just thinking about how I need to go find some ladies to empty their dishwashers for them.
And it's like amazing. You empty their dishwasher and they're like, why are your pants on your ankles? Oh, okay. I'm just kidding. Andy, whole thing's a lie. Whole thing is a lie.
Yeah, throw that out there to them.
None of this happened. This is all alternate universe.
Yeah, this is some hackers got on here and did this. I think that, I mean, in my opinion, what we've been talking about is all really good stuff, and it kind of goes back to us being, you know, this next generation from them, and we're trying to create this world and this society that is a lot more open and honest and having these conversations about sexuality and, you know, just being able to move on and, like, develop.
I agree.
So
That we know of. You only have one round in this body you're in. Be the person you want to be. Just don't be mean. Like,
yeah.
I say that to my kids all the time. Just don't be mean, dude. Keep this on there. Do you have a secret, like,
Shh, don't tell anybody.
natural herb that you would recommend that everyone just takes daily that helps either regulate their body or just helps mood or anything?
I mean, like, for like everyday for everybody kind of herb, I would go.
I mean, kind of.
I would go with like stinging nettles, which sounds pretty
Okay.
bizarre, but it's like a super nutritive herb and really nourishing. I mean, it's so. I mean, you can eat it as much of it as you want every day, and it only does good things. It's.
Where do you get this?
I get it in my yard, but you can. I mean, like a lot of these herbs you can get from the internet, like shopping on the internet places. I can't think of a place in town
Like,
that you can just go and buy it.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know how to. Okay, let me back up. So when I asked you that question, I was telling my sitter that I watch my kids when I'm working. I said, oh, I'm so excited for tonight. I'm going to talk to one of my oldest friends. He's actually my first boyfriend.
Aw,
And I said he
yeah.
would live off the earth if he could. And there's other things that kind of get in the way, but for the most part, he does. And
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah. And I said, and I'm excited to ask some questions. Like, he probably has random questions about me because I sold sex toys for 20 years. But I'm excited to ask questions about things. I'm excited to ask questions
Yeah.
about what
Yeah.
he knows. And so, like, I clearly know sex toys and vibrators and orgasms, but tell me about the bigger health things in the sense of what, like, Andy, I'm being serious. Like, if there's like this thing that, like, you're like, it's not kale. What is this thing that you're like, you know, everyone should get that. And here's where to get it. And part of me, Andy, like, I don't go into GNC because I don't trust it. And
Is
so,
it
like,
even? Is there even GNCs anymore? You know,
Yes, I have
Okay.
one down the road, but I
Okay.
don't even know. Like, I don't know how to get a truly organic thing that I trust, and I randomly trust a farmer's market over a government regulated store. So like
Government Nutrition Center.
you got it. Yes.
That's what it is.
Is that what you call it stand for?
I don't know. I just thought of that one. It just happened. That's an original.
So I like it. I'll make that on a t-shirt when I make the other ones. But yeah, like that's, I mean, I'm being very serious in this. Like, I am not as health conscious as I should be. I have a horrible diet. I love alcohol.
You know where you can get nettles? I just thought of in Cincinnati is Cincinnati Natural Foods. It's like right by the Esquire Theater on Ludlow.
Yeah, I know exactly where that is. Okay.
Um,
Wait, how do you consume nettles? Like, what form does it come in?
It's just like a dry green leaf.
Mm-hmm.
And you can put it into soups. You can put it into casseroles. That's a fun word. You don't hear that much anymore.
Yeah. Like the tuna noodle my grandma made? Yep. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you could put it into anything, really, that you would put, like, pepper and salt in. Really, you could put it in eggs. I mean, you could put it in pancakes. It's got a slight flavor to it, but not a really strong, dominant flavor.
Okay.
I mean, it just tastes kind of green and mineral-y.
So, is it good for gut health? Because, like, gut health is, like, clearly the buzzword of 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
And I listened to your thing with Weeze or Ryan Nolan, however you want to call him. Yeah. And I enjoyed your conversation about mushrooms because I love mushrooms and hen of the woods and all of those. Like, I am, and my brother-in-law is a mushroom hunter, whatever you call him.
Yeah, nice.
And actually he lives in Green Hills. And I send him pictures of mushrooms all the time. I'm like, edible or not? Like, should I collect this or whatever? Like morels and all the other common ones. But Andy, like, that was fascinating because I was like, I'm on Team Ryan in that I drink a lot more bourbon than I eat raw mushrooms. But
there you go. Yeah.
Team Weeze, yeah.
Yeah. Well.
So all these things, like, I feel like if you could just do a whole nother show, just teaching us what we should and shouldn't do.
Well, I don't like to shoot on people, which has been interesting. Like, I've been studying herbalism for, herbology studies for 24 years now or something. And some people, like, they get into it, they study it for 3 years, and then they're like out there taking on clients and telling them what they should do or take or this or that, and they're like playing doctor with people. I never really feel that comfortable with that. Like,
agreed.
Telling other people what they should eat or not, like, based on, a few questions in a 20-minute session or something. But I don't know, there's a lot of things like...
Should I not orgasm on people? Is that what you're saying? I'm just kidding.
Wait, I think you should orgasm on people, for sure.
I'm just kidding. Should I not pass my sexual education on people?
No, I think what you're doing, and I pass on my education of what I know about, like, like nettles are a nutritive herb, like I was just saying, but I'm not saying, like, you should have nettles to cure this.
Okay.
Or something, or like...
I was like, shoot, should I not say the things I'm saying?
No, I think you should. I think, like, giving people the whole palette and then giving them the opportunity to figure out and know their own bodies, to know, like, you tell them, like, all the different toys there are. These have dull stimulators, these ones, only stimulate the clitoris. This one only goes in and out. Whatever it is, right?
Okay.
Fair, so it's like you go, you know what the options are. You go out and pick out which works best for your body. So I mean, I feel like that's more like what I do with herbs. Is I study them. I study what, historically how they've been used, what medical and like clinical research has been found for them, what folklore is, says about that, which is totally different than each other, but they go together, right? And I might be able to share my own experiences now after that much time of having some experiences with things. And so yeah, I mean, it's like everybody's body type is different and metabolizes different, or has a different history of how much bourbon they've had, or so yeah, it's interesting. There's just so many variables that I'm not going to tell you what to eat or not. But if you're talking about gut health, I mean, something that's pretty fun and easy to incorporate is like fermented foods and kombuchas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Back to the sex toys and whatnot. Andy. Like have like sex toys and dildos and things like that been affected by the bottlenecks in the supply chain?
Oh, 100%. Well,
so like a total log jam.
Yeah. So anytime something's getting jammed. I'm just kidding.
Was there a lot of them like jammed up in the Suez Canal?
Columbus died. No. So, anyway, I don't even know where to go with that.
So we were talking about inflammation, or not inflammation.
Not erections. Hang on. Fluctuation.
Inflation. There we go. That's what we're looking for.
So the answer is, whenever the world when there's inflation, people are either looking for more ways to make money or more ways to save money. So in inflation times, there's things that are never sacrificed. It's usually alcohol, tobacco, and sex. So with that said, during inflation, people are trying to save, or they're pretty much trying to save or make. So they are either selling the product or they are saving, and instead of going out, they're figuring they're going to get laid one way or another, and they're buying these products.
Yeah.
Andy.
It's amazing, really.
Oh my gosh. I have nothing else.
Nothing else on that one.
I feel like I need a pint glass to slam on the bar. I'm done.
Yeah, last call. It's last call time. So.
Any other questions?
Well, I think that, I don't know, I think I was thinking pretty intelligently when I was in 4th grade. I think you've become a pretty fun, incredible woman. And
Andy, when you get back to Cincinnati, I'm going to show you all of the
toys?
Cincinnati places.
Shut the farm up.
Sorry, just had to one more time.
Yes, all of the toys that we have to offer. I don't work there anymore. I don't even know why I'm saying we. Yeah.
We gotta wrap this up. Sorry.
Yes, everyone. Let's give a big round of applause for Heather Holthaus Battles.
I'm so glad you messaged me and asked me to be part of it.
Dude, Heather, this was such a cool conversation. We talked about so many things that people are so afraid to talk about. And we did it in a way that was very joyful and very friendly. And yeah, maybe some people might got offended by some of these things, but you know what? It's okay. There's a lot of other podcasts that we have on this show that don't talk about the things that we just talked about hardly at all. So, hope you enjoyed that, and you can find some joy in all the other ones. Keep listening to this podcast. Explore the other episodes. Have fun. Stay tuned. There'll be more coming from the Mother Farmin' Elf.
Bye.